granniopteryx, granniopteryx. She knows the truth, she's linking every link.
In February, a mob of Muslims assembled outside Parliament to protest the debate that was going on in Parliament. It was about the Gaza ceasefire, I think. Anyway, the point is that parliamentary business was changed by the Speaker because he reckoned it was not safe for the MPs inside the House of Commons. He was worried about what would happen when they tried to leave the chamber after the debate if they didn't do what the mob demanded. So Sir Lindsay Yellow-Belly Coward Hoyle decided that, right, we'll change parliamentary business in order to accommodate this mob. Michael Howard, an ex-Conservative Party cabinet member and contender for prime ministership during one of the elections, 2005, I think. He says that this February 21st, 2024 will go down as a black day in the history of our parliamentary democracy, not just because of the chaotic scenes of the House of Commons, nor just because the Speaker tore up the rules. The most troubling aspect of those events was justification that the Speaker gave for his decision. He tried to say that he was concerned about the safety of MPs, but these things aren't new. 2 MPs were murdered by the IRA, and I, Michael Howard, and many others were on a list of IRA targets. But if anyone had suggested that our parliamentary procedures should be changed because of these undoubted dangers, they would have been given short shrift. So this is what happened. This is the whole cowardly, appeasing, morally bankrupt Labour Party. And they are setting the tone for the country. So what happened when some Muslims started threatening fans of Maccabi, they decided to not allow the fans to attend the football match. Recently, I've been making more videos about being embarrassed about being British than in the entire 7 years before. In fact, I don't think I mentioned being embarrassed once in those 7 years. And in the last week, I've been embarrassed twice. The other time was when Donald Trump made a total fool of Keir Starmer. By the way, I realised afterwards, after I made that video, it was entirely deliberate. Look, Trump is a performer. He knows what happens when you invite someone up, shake their hands, and then turn your back on them and leave them to sort of, they either step backwards and fall off the stage or have to turn round to get back to their original position. He knew that. And there was another situation, somebody told me about it, which and I thought it was funny enough to mention, and that was Mark Carney, when Trump, who knew what he was saying, referred to Carney as the President of Canada, knowing that Carney would he would be forced into correcting that misapprehension. So Carney said, I'm not the president, I'm the Prime Minister. At which point, it's just like the feed line. Trump said, well, you should be grateful that I'm not calling you the governor. And Trump, sharp as a tack. And in both cases, I have to say, I don't feel that insulted by Trump because he is dishing out exactly what those 2 men deserved. Anyway, I have got completely sidetracked. I'm going to be talking about the embarrassment of our appeasing, lily-livered government and, of course, all the organisations that they have turned into appeasing, lily-livered organisations. After I've told you that I'm Granniopteryx, please like this video, please share it. Please subscribe to my channel, and if you want to contribute financially, well, there should be a little thing coming up here now, but all the links whereby you might contribute are in the description. Okay, let's talk football. This is taken from the Western Telegraph, and this is a statement from the West Midlands Police. They had classified the Aston Villa versus Maccabi Tel Aviv fixture as high risk based on current intelligence and previous incidents, including violent clashes and hate crime offences that occurred during the 2024 UEFA Europa League match between Ajax and Maccabi Tel Aviv in Amsterdam. If you remember, there was what I think one of the Muslim taxi drivers in Amsterdam was recorded as referring to what they were doing as a Jew hunt, and they had organised themselves to go after the Tel Aviv football fans. Badenoch, of course, predictably enough, said this is a national disgrace. How have things come to this? You wouldn't expect her to say anything else. And Keir Starmer said that the banning the Israeli fans from attending an Aston Villa match is wrong. So he says it's wrong, of course. And then he says, we will not tolerate anti-Semitism on our streets. Of course you will. You have done nothing but. You and your bosom buddy, the nightmare of London, Sadiq Khan, have done nothing else but tolerate anti-Semitism on our streets. It's been so bad that several Christian groups have woken up because they can see where this is going. It's descending into anarchy. And let's get back to that. This was anarchy. This was mob violence. I want to tell you something else about mob violence. I have some photographs here. Here we are. This happened after the Southport incident, and a lot of Muslims started, projecting, really. They thought that the white people were going to do to them what they would have done to white people had the situation been reversed. Just look at this here. And what they did was they beat up a guy who was standing in a pub garden. You know, there was there's a pub, and then there was like a sort of big veranda in front of it, and one man was standing there, and they went in and beat him up. They attacked a reporter. They actually attacked a reporter, and they vandalised it was Sky News, I think. They vandalised the Sky News van. And later on, when they realised that the poor fellow they beat up had nothing to do with, what they were projecting, they apologised. Oh, we're terribly sorry. We got a bit carried away. He's in a wheelchair. He is accepting this guy's apology. He shouldn't be. He is in a wheelchair. He was standing up in the photo I saw of him before the mob descended on him. He's in a wheelchair now. Apparently, there is an organisation called chaired by Birmingham City Council's Head of Resilience. The Safety Advisory Group is made up of officials from the local authority. It was the Safety Advisory Group that said that none of the Maccabi fans should be allowed in the stands because it was too dangerous. They're Birmingham City Council that can't collect its own rubbish. I shall put a photograph in here of the situation with regard to rubbish collection in Birmingham. They can't collect their own rubbish, and they have a city council head of resilience for goodness sake, what does head of resilience mean? And they have something called the Safety Advisory Group, which is made up of officials of the local authority, emergency responders, including the police, and event organisers. So if you can't control the Muslim mobs rampaging on your streets, you bring in the army. They haven't all been sent to Gaza yet. They can get out there and deal with the situation because that's what's needed. They should not be allowed to dictate who goes to a football match. David Spencer, don't know who David Spencer is, but he says the Maccabi ban is the most shameful example of two-tier policing yet. Of course it is. And that's the problem. It's not just this situation. After a while, it will be any fan of any team that the Muslim mob decides they don't like. It might be that they will decide that nobody on no supporters of any opposing team does that sound a bit silly, a bit extreme, a bit ridiculous? Well, I'll tell you what, this would have sounded a bit ridiculous just 12 months ago. There is a world of difference between taking steps to prevent violence between the supporters of two clubs and banning members of one club who are overwhelmingly from one particular racial or religious group. Yes, I can just imagine all those Muslims and the police and everyone being absolutely terrified of the Maccabi fans turning up and the entire population of Birmingham being devastated by a whole standful of accountants and dentists. Jack Angelides said the decision to block his team's supporters from attending the Europa League match against Aston Villa had been met with dismay at his club. Maccabi Tel Aviv fans were told on Thursday they'd be barred from the match on November the 6th, following a recommendation from West Midlands Police. I can't find the video now, but I did put out a video fairly recently in which I showed a house camera video of West Midlands Police breaking down the door of a Jewish blogger who had criticised Sadiq Khan, and Sadiq Khan's racial hatred unit had been sent. Two of them had been sent from London to wherever this was in the West Midlands and had assembled a group of West Midlands police to go and arrest this Jewish blogger for insulting Sadiq Khan. That was a few years ago. So West Midlands police, who are great with the door smasher on some Jewish blogger in a semi-detached somewhere in the West Midlands. Now they're afraid of the Muslim mobs. They can't handle those, of course. That's far too much work for them. Let's see what else we have here. This is Ayub Khan, is it not? On the 6th of November, Aston Villa are due to host Maccabi Tel Aviv at Villa Park in Birmingham. We're calling on UEFA, the UK Culture Minister, and the club itself to urgently cancel this fixture. Terrible grammar. Urgently to cancel this fixture or take immediate steps to ensure public safety and community harmony. Community harmony. That was what the police kept saying when they were ignoring rape gangs in Telford and Rochdale and Oldham and places like that. Community harmony. When I hear community harmony, I would like to reach for my revolver, except I don't have a revolver and I wouldn't be allowed one. There's been a concerted effort of various people to ban the fans. It's not just Ayub Khan, it's a whole lot of them. And here, this is another thing. News that police were advising Birmingham Council to ban travelling fans from going to Villa Park came just hours after a Birmingham-based Muslim cleric, why wasn't he arrested, made it ferociously clear that Israeli fans would face serious potentially dangerous hostilities next month. British Islamic scholar Asra Rashid: we will not show mercy to Maccabi Tel Aviv fans travelling to Birmingham for the Aston Villa FC match. So that's direct incitement to violence. The police aren't doing anything about that. They're just telling the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans not to turn up because they can't handle it. And we are not going to have the terrible optics of British soldiers standing there with guns pointing at a Birmingham mob of Muslims. No, well, it's about time we did, because these guys are using the mob to dictate our way of living now. I mean, this is no surprise to me. I've been talking about this for 7 years. But apparently it's a surprise to a lot of other people. OK, well, I keep talking about my blood pressure, don't I? Till next time, you can help my channel by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. That's quite important. And by sharing if you're so inclined. Links to my other channels and to donation methods are in the description. But the best way you can help is simply by clicking like and notify. Thank you.